I have sinned against you, my Lord.
What's up, guys? Welcome to the Being Beautifully Honest channel and podcast. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do go ahead and hit that subscribe button. All right. Well, I was trying to debate about whether I was going to talk about this or not because I do have a lot of feelings about it. But you heard the young lady's story, and this is just what I'm going to say about this. I don't think that the young lady has any reason to lie, but just like she said, when I listened to what she shared in its entirety, when you are who you are and you are going up against people who have a lot of money and they have a lot of power,
and when you fighting against people with money, and I'm talking about real money, that is hard as I represented myself in trial by myself, and I had to sit up there and come to the agreement because I didn't know how to fight no more. They paid my lawyer off. They paid the judge off. They didn't even want to submit their income documents, her health documents, nothing, to the point where they had even their little minions around them doing the work for them. You know what I'm saying?
Then the judicial system, or whatever the system is that was utilized, because I don't know the ins and outs of how this adoption really began and ended, if it just started in court or they wound up getting her to sign the child over and they made it legal in the end. I don't know, but money talks and everything else walks. So when they have that type of power, and again, all of this is alleged. I don't know if 100% of everything that she is saying is real, but I'm listening to her spirit grieve. And now that it has been put out there that her ex-husband has been arrested for doing some things with a child, as any mother that really loves their child would do, it would really freak you out. And now she's coming out and she's saying she doesn't care even if she signed a non-disclosure agreement or a gag order or whatever was put out there.
I'm tired of being quiet. To the point now, from 2018 to now, Brittany Coleman was locked up on May 4th for sexually assaulting the adopted daughter, Amari. And it wasn't just a one-time offense. It was continuous sexual assault. So now I gotta sit here and I gotta think, well, did he touch my baby? Did he touch my baby?
She's just like going scorched earth right now. She just doesn't care about what the ramifications may be of her speaking out about this situation. But I don't think that she would be lying about all of this. I don't know, again, all of it, but there are stories that go back to 2021 where Cora Jakes, at the time she was Cora Jakes Coleman, was saying that she was battling infertility. So when this girl came out in the video and she said she can't have kids,
no child coming from you because you can't have kids. She can't have kids. You understand what I'm saying? The can't have kids.
That's not a lie. And when she mentioned about the prophet that Cora Jakes called in to do all of this stuff over her, she said she was praying and speaking in tongues over her, and she was saying how she saw the child sitting on a throne, and she was saying that God was telling her that she didn't have the baby for herself, like sort of saying that, okay, yeah, you gave birth to this child, but God is telling me that this baby isn't yours. You had this baby to give to someone else.
She brought down a so-called prophet by the name of Galena, okay? And they performed this whole little, I call it an exorcism now. They had me laying on the floor, speaking in tongues over me, pouring oil over me. Then she comes up with this elaborate story talking about I didn't have Jason for myself, that I had Jason for Cora and Brandon Coleman, and how she could see Brandon sitting on some type of throne, and it was my son that was sitting on his lap, and he was just laughing and playing. To the point where Cora told me after I had my son Liam that God gave me Liam so that Jason's real brother could come.
And to me, I'm sorry, it sounds like spiritual manipulation. And when she named the woman who was the prophetess, she said Galena. I said, oh my gosh, I don't know this woman personally, but several years ago, I went to a spiritual conference. I'll just say that. I'm not going to say the name of it or anything like that. But that woman that she named, Galena, she was one of the speakers there. And when she was teaching and preaching and, you know, some other stuff, you know, going on. But apparently Cora Jakes was supposed to be at that venue as well, but for whatever reason she wasn't able to make it. I don't know. And this was several years ago. I don't even remember exactly what year it was, but it was several years ago, at least 4 years ago, if not longer. And because Cora Jakes was not able to make it there at the time, she did a video of what she had to say. It wasn't very long, but Galena said that Cora Jakes was her spiritual daughter. And at that time, I didn't even know anything about Cora Jakes. I still don't know a whole lot about her. I just know for the most part that she is Pastor T.D. Jakes' daughter. And of course, we know Pastor T.D. Jakes is one of the most famous mega church preachers in the United States. So when that girl said that in that video, I said, oh my God, I've seen that woman before. And at one point, I used to even, I didn't really watch her stuff, but I guess I had followed her on Periscope, so I would get notifications of her going live. I never really watched it though, so I can't tell you a whole lot about her, but I'm familiar with her name. So with that being said, I don't think that she's lying about that either, because I do remember this Galena person saying that Cora Jakes was her spiritual daughter. So when she said that Cora Jakes called this woman in and her name was Galena and she was praying over her and speaking in tongues over her and saying that God showed her that she didn't have this baby for herself, I believe that the girl is telling the truth when she's talking about the spiritual manipulation. And that may not be the popular opinion because, of course, a lot of people are going to judge her and make her, if they're going to compare her to Cora Jakes, they're going to make her out to be the bad guy and they say, oh, well, she was irresponsible. She has a bunch of kids. She's not married. She had an agreement with Pastor Cora Jakes and now she's upset and now she wants to change her mind and or she's just using the situation that her ex-husband is going through right now because he was arrested to make this out to be something that it's not and to make her look bad. But I don't know. I'm hopeful that if this woman is telling the truth, that she will get some justice. But I don't know what that will look like for her. Because again, as we go back to talking about the manipulation and the ranks that they have and that they can pull and the money that they have and the influence that they have within their grip, that whole Jakes family, I mean, let's just be honest. Who can really go up against them that is Not to say this young lady is beneath them, but you know what I mean when I say that. When you don't have the money and the status that they have, who can really go up against them? And because she says she's been manipulated and coerced into signing over her son and was told that if you don't do it, we're going to take your child away. I don't know. It's possible. I am sorry to hear about this situation, but I will say I definitely feel for this young lady. Because especially with this news coming out now about her ex-husband being arrested for allegedly doing some things with some children, that's effed up. And I can't imagine how she feels. And that's what she said. She said, I'm thinking about my son and I'm wondering, did he do anything to my child?
So now I gotta sit here and I gotta think, well, did he touch my baby? Did he touch my baby?
So I don't know, but all of the pieces, when you put them together, it just doesn't look good. She put it out there, Pastor Cora Jakes, she put it out there that she was dealing with infertility. She did put that out there. And then they adopted children, and she was over the children's ministry. And then she marries this guy, and now, I don't want to say conveniently, but now they just so happen to be, I'll put it that way, divorced. Didn't really hear a whole lot about that. But then following the announcement of the divorce, the reports came out that he's facing these criminal charges, and accusations are regarding the children's safety and, allegedly doing some things with at least one child over and over again. And that is horrifying. And so I don't know. I mean, if this woman was called in who claimed to be a prophet, and she was saying these things over this young lady about this baby and giving this child up to Pastor Cora Jakes, I wonder if this woman had any prophecy to let her know that, look, your husband is doing some devious, dirty things, or he may be not even doing it, but he has the potential to do these things, so you may want to get out now. I thought prophecy was supposed to be really for future events and not just for, you're going to get a new house, you're going to get a new car because you want a baby, you're going to have a baby or whatever. You know what I mean? And I just feel that there's just too many people out here in the social media stratosphere that claim to be walking in the authority of God, and they claim to have these callings, or that they're a prophet or a prophetess or whatever. And I feel that a lot of times it is a lot, like this young lady said, spiritual manipulation. And then they get people caught up and people follow them, and then they grow in followers, grow in money, because you know what comes along with that, especially in that world. When people start really following them, then people want to give them gifts, send them cash apps, send them Venmo payments, send them seed offerings, whatever. And it's just really sad. But is it possible that Cora Jakes used spiritual manipulation to take this woman's child, and she didn't really have any intention on giving her child over, or that the woman was really scared into giving her child up to her and her then husband at the time? It's possible. All of these things are alleged at this point, but what I will say is that this young lady is really hurting, and for those who really like to go for broke and go to bat for these people who are in these positions in these churches, you really need to fall back. If you want to pray for those who are in those leadership positions or whatever, and you love them, so be it. Do that if you want, but don't just be in the position of, well, I'm for these people, so I'm against this person, and I believe she's outright lying. You have to listen to both sides. You know, in the court, you have to listen to both sides. This isn't a situation that's in court right now. Right now, it's in the court of public opinion. But we will see how far this goes, because I just don't feel that the young lady had any reason to come out here, do this live video the way that she did it, and lie about these things, especially after holding all of this in and dealing with it for a lot of years. I just don't. That's not something that happens every day. And do you know how many people give their children up for adoption? I mean, there are even people who have done surrogacy for people, and they knew that, okay, I'm just carrying this baby. I'm just the vessel carrying this baby, but the child, it belongs to someone else. And they're not out here years later coming out here and claiming some things, this and that and the other, because they're trying to just get the baby back, and they're lying about it, and now they're deciding that they want to keep the baby, or just different situations and scenarios like that. So again, all alleged. I don't know the full story, but just after hearing this young lady's story, I'm just saying that it is possible that spiritual manipulation was used in this situation to cause her, during a state of not being in a very great mental condition, dealing with postpartum depression. And I don't feel that anybody should be in the state of signing anything legally, especially like that, where you're giving your child up when you are going through postpartum depression. Was there any mental evaluations done before that? Was there any counseling? Not just counseling from the church, but I mean like from a licensed clinical therapist, so that people can make these decisions in their right mind and not so much out of grief, depression, or in a state of panic or shock or fear, or of under threats that they have to doing this under duress, which is one of the things that she said. So you guys can let me know your thoughts about this in the comment section. Again, I'm not coming for any of these people because I don't know any of them, but just being beautifully honest about it. I do believe that in situations like this, especially when you come into a position of dealing with people who have this high profile church family like the Jakes, spiritual manipulation definitely can happen. It absolutely can happen. And I know Greenleaf was a television show, but a lot of those things are based off of real life situations that have happened. Seriously. Okay? So you guys can let me know your thoughts about all of this in the comment section. What do you think about this?
I have sinned against you, my Lord.